And welcome back to the Mark Moses Show as we are getting ready for NXT Live here in Melbourne on Friday night. And you can see this NXT superstar. She's going to be there. Her name is Roxanne Perez. Roxanne, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Was that a good enough intro or was I missing something?
No, that was really good. That was good. I like the energy.
I like it. I like it as well. Okay, Roxanne, let's start with this. Did you get the W at Halloween Havoc last weekend?
Of course I did.
How'd it go in the match against Jade?
Ooh, it obviously went well. But I'm still pretty sore from that fall from the Okerlund. We fell from a very high position all the way onto tables, two tables. So I think that was good, maybe like 10 feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You make it like it's so nonchalant. What was all right?
Yeah,
So when
no big deal.
that happens, you fall, right? Was there a moment where you're just like, yeah, I did that. That just happened in my career.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Especially just like being here at WWE, I feel like I didn't do anything too crazy on the indies, on the
Mm.
independent scene. I did like two hardcore matches, but they weren't like super hardcore. I went through a table, but not from 10 feet high. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Well, if you look at Roxanne's career, I mean, still very young, and I know this is your passion, your dream. But how did you get your start? Because I was looking at research. You started at 13 years old. Is this right, Roxanne?
I did. I started training at 13 years old.
So was this like you were growing up and I wanted to be a professional wrestler? What happened?
Yeah, so since I was like 10 years old, I got into wrestling and I was a diehard fan of WWE. I would watch it every Monday, every Friday, and I was just like, I want to do that. Everything, it's a mix of like theater, sports, everything, like these like out of this world characters, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. So I told my parents, my mom and my stepdad, I was like, when I'm older, I'm gonna be a WWE wrestler. And they were like, okay, if that's what you want to do, like go chase your dream. And so yeah, I remember I was like 11 years old and I was like on my family computer searching up wrestling schools in Texas.
Mhm.
And I actually found Booker T School, which was in Houston, Texas. And I'm from Laredo, so that's about like 7 hours. Um, so I was like, okay, when I graduate high school, I'm moving to Houston and I'm gonna start training to become a professional wrestler at Booker T School. My parents were like, okay, cool. And then I ended up getting trained earlier than expected by two people, George Benavides and Johnny Angel, locally in my
Mm.
hometown. And I was 13 years old. So they were like local indie wrestlers and they were awesome. They were like big brothers to me. And they're like, yeah, bring her in. And started training. They took me really serious. And I was training with like all these grown men. I was like 13 years old, this little girl training with like 30-year-old men, and I was keeping up. I was like so serious about it.
That is awesome. We're here with Roxanne Perez, NXT Superstar. She's going to be in Melbourne on Friday night. If you want tickets, you want to go there, available etix.com right now, Friday night at the Melbourne Auditorium. All right. Did you make your professional career like debut at 16 years old? Is this correct?
So I actually had my first ever match. I actually have it tattooed on my wrist.
Whoa.
It's April 8th, 2016. So I was 14. And yeah, I had my first match when I was 14 years old. And then I had like a few more matches, then took a break when I was like 16 because I wanted to do freshman junior varsity soccer. I just wanted to do something in school and like obviously when you're 14, 15, 16, not much can happen for you in the world of professional wrestling.
Mhm.
Um, so I took a little break and then I hated it. I hated being without wrestling. I wanted to go back to it so bad. So once I ended that year of soccer, I went back to wrestling and it was like nonstop from there. I had my first big match against Kylie Ray in my hometown. And after that, like um, Booker T at the Reality of Wrestling reached out and was like, "Hey, do you want to come wrestle for my promotion?" And I was like, "Of course." So yeah, that's kind of how it all started.
Was it crazy when Booker T is calling you on the phone? That must have been surreal at first.
Yeah, it was crazy because so I actually started like training at his school around that age when I was like 16. So they asked me if I wanted to appear on one of their shows and I was like, "Duh, this is crazy." Like it was just crazy to me because my whole plan that I had envisioned when I was 11 years old was like, okay, when I'm 18 and I graduate high school, I'm gonna start training at Booker T's. But I was like 16 years old, beginning my training at Booker T's, and then became their youngest Diamonds champion at 18 years old. So it was like the way everything works was better than I imagined.
You make it sound like if there's a movie of your life, there's going to be a scene where you could go to the prom, but then you also have a hardcore match at the same time. Did that happen to you
Yeah.
as a
Well, I didn't
senior?
go to prom actually. I didn't go to prom.
There's still time. Don't worry. We can make this happen. So all right, how did you get involved with the WWE then?
Okay, so I was at another promotion prior to. I was their women's world champion, and then a couple of things happened, and the company kind of went out of business, and that was last November. So
Mhm.
I was freaking out. I was like, it felt like my whole world was just crumbling down, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't have a job now. And I hadn't had many jobs before wrestling because wrestling has been my life. Um, so I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. Then I get a call from William Regal. He was still with WWE at the time, and he called me and said, "Hey, I heard everything that happened with the company you're with, and we were just wondering if you wanted to come to a tryout in December, which was a month later." So that was so crazy to me. I remember like it reminded me of that scene from Fighting with My Family. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
watched it, but
Yeah.
Paige, she's at the dinner table and they call her and they're like, "Hey, we want to bring you for a tryout." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." So as soon as that call ended, I called my mom and I was like, "You're not gonna believe what just happened." She just started crying.
Um, how did the tryout go in your eyes?
So I thought the tryout went really well. I did a tryout in December, so that was like a 2 to 3 day tryout. I thought it went awesome. I was a little nervous. The nerves did get to me because oh, sorry about that.
Oh, you're okay. You're right. Well, don't worry. It's fine. It happens. It's live. So you were
uh,
saying,
sorry. Yeah, so I did the tryout. The nerves did get to me a little bit, and then I was like, yeah, I'm totally gonna make it. Like, they're gonna sign me. Then I got a call from them, and they said, hey, like, there wasn't necessarily anything wrong with what you did, but we want to bring you back for an extended tryout in February for three
"Hmm,
weeks. And I was like, whoa, okay. So they're like, we're gonna get a hotel for you. You'll have a stipend, like you'll have a place to live for those 3 weeks. You'll be good. It's like a training camp." And I was like, all right. So I did that. That was intense because
yeah,
it was 3 weeks and they're basically trying to like tear you down to see if you're gonna quit. And I was like, I love this so much. I'm not gonna quit. I don't care if you guys bring me back 5 more times. Like I'm gonna get signed. Like this is my dream. This is everything I've ever worked for. So those 3 weeks, I put my heart and soul into everything I did, and I got the job.
that is awesome." Then what is your advice, Roxanne Perez, for the next generation, male or female, that wants to get as far as you have to try to do all this stuff?
Honestly, I think it's just a mix of like it sounds cliche, but like dedication, passion, and consistency. And I think like it gets hard after a while. You know, you kind of start doubting yourself and start thinking, is it really ever going to happen? But it will. If you put everything you have, like hard work always pays off. And as much as you put into it, you're going to receive that back. And another thing that is really important is never ever compare your path to somebody else's because everybody is going to shine different. Everybody's going to have a different path. Someone may make it before you, you may make it before them. Like they may accomplish different things than you will accomplish, but as long as you just stay true to yourself and your path, like you're gonna accomplish everything that you've ever dreamed of.
That was well said. That was awesome. That really was. So they tell you, all right, we're signing you. Then what happens? I know you're not in that hotel room anymore. Then what do you do?
Yeah, so literally I got the job and they were like, "All right, I think the last day was like February 2020 something." And they were like, "You need to be moved in by March, like the second week of March." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I like went home, packed all my things, like started looking for apartments and yeah, everything kind of just fell into place. But it was honestly a dream come true.
What was it like then, Roxanne? Where, okay, you're training behind the scenes, and I've been to your guys' facility. The Performance Center is amazing. It
It
really
is.
is. It's top of the line. What was it like? You're training, and then they're like, "Hey, all right, you're going to be on national television tonight." What was that like?
That was crazy because they actually told me the day before, "Hey, you're gonna debut for NXT Level Up." And I was like, "Oh my God. All right." So did my debut. Then the next week they called and they were like, "Hey, you're making your NXT TV debut tonight. You have a promo, you have a backstage, you have a match." And I was like, "Okay." And I remember Shawn Michaels, he told me, he's like, "We're throwing you in the deep end. Let's see if you sink or swim." And I was like, "All right." And I swam.
That is awesome. By the way, I've told this to other people. I love Shawn Michaels,
Me
and
too.
he's the man. And I just think every time I see him, like I think he's going to super kick me every single time. Like I'm not.
Same,
That's
same.
it. All right. What advice has he given you behind the scenes so far?
Oh my gosh. He's given me, like, so much advice. It's crazy to just even be, like, working under him because I was a huge fan of Shawn Michaels growing up. So was my mom. I
Mhm.
remember when I was younger, my mom used to always tell me, like, "When you get signed to WWE, I don't want anything. I just wanna meet Shawn Michaels." And so I'm like, "All right, mom, I got you." But yeah, he's amazing, and, I think just, like, he's given me so much confidence to just go out there and know that they can trust me with anything that they throw at me. Like, I can go out there and I can have a good match for you. I can go out there and I can do a promo. I can do a live promo, like, you know? So, he's given me so much confidence with that, and yeah, it's surreal to be working with him. I literally used to rewatch the DX documentary when
Mm.
I was, like, 12 years old, like, over and over again. So to just be working with him and then Triple H is now, like, working with the main roster again, so it's it's wild.
Wait, has your mother, did she get to meet him then? That's the question.
She did. So,
Must have been awesome. That must have been such a cool moment.
yeah, so, months ago, was it maybe in the summer, my family came to watch, one of my NXT shows, and I didn't tell my mom, but after the show, I was saying hi to them, and I told them, like, "Oh, just wait here, I'm gonna go get my stuff." So I walked to the back, and I was like, "I'm just gonna ask him." So I was like, "Hey, Sean, my mom's here. She's a really, really big fan of yours, and I was just wondering if you could go and say hi to her." And he's like, "Yeah, of course." So, I walk back through the curtain, and he, like, pops up behind me, and she lost it. She started, like, crying, she screamed, she was like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, "Why didn't you tell me that
You love it.
he was coming?" I was like, "I had to surprise you."
That is
Um,
awesome. So what's it like? Because I ask this to every superstar. So you're up, Roxanne Perez. What's it like when you're behind the scenes? They're like, all right, you're gonna come up next, and your music hits, and you got to come out. What's that feeling like?
oh, that I've gotten the same feeling ever since my first match, and it's never gone away. But it's just a mix of, like, butterflies and, like, my heart starts beating, and, I actually just do, like, a little prayer before I go out every single time, and I just, like I just am so grateful every single time that I just get to go out there and do what I love. Um, I get to live out my dream. Um, but yeah, I've been told that once that feeling goes away, to just quit because that means that you don't love it anymore. And so I'm glad that I have that feeling.
Let's end with this with Roxanne Perez. Your storyline where you guys were tag team champs, she threw the belt in the garbage can. It was
She did. I can't believe she
fantastic.
did that.
It was fantastic. Just fantastic. I love that theater. Did your family and friends, did they call you up and were they discussing this with you as well?
They were. My 10-year-old sister Raquel, she wasn't really a fan of wrestling when I was watching it before I got signed. But
Mm.
now that I'm signed, she watches NXT every Tuesday. She knows every wrestler. And so she was so mad when that happened. She was like, "I hate Cora. Like I can't believe she did that." And yeah, they love it.
That was awesome. So have we put an end to that chapter as you got your revenge at Halloween Havoc?
I did. It's closed. Moving on.
Oh, I like it. All right. So we're going to be there Friday. This is very key. Roxanne Perez, she's going to be at the Melbourne Auditorium
Yeah.
on Friday night. Should we come out and cheer you on? This is very key.
Yes, of course you guys should. Um, we're doing a little something special for Halloween, so you guys have to come out and watch it. And yes, cheer for me.
Yeah, this is very key. The number one, there should be a sign. Someone should have a sign. Cheer for this lady. Here's the key.
Right
Also,
here.
yeah, right there. Also, if you want to go see NXT Live, you got to go to the WWE.com website. Look for NXT Live. Sign up to try to get those tickets for a Tuesday night show. I've gone. I sat in the front row. Fantastic. Fantastic. I love it.
Great shows.
Roxanne Perez, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with everything for the rest of the year.
Thank you so much for having me.